Most men have no idea when that moment actually happens. They try to talk their way into it, impress their way into it, perform for it. But the truth is simpler. Women don't decide based on what you say. They decide based on who you are in one specific second. This video shows you what those seconds are, how to create them, and how to make her body decide before her brain catches up. You think it happens on the third date, maybe when things go physical, but that's not when she decides. That moment happens long before you ever touch, long before she even knows your name well. It happens in a quiet second, one blink of subtle dominance where her brain shifts without asking her permission. And once it does, the decision is made. Silent, instant, final. She's already imagined it, and nothing you say after will change it. Support this channel if you want this type of insight, reaching more men who were never taught this. Every like, share, and comment makes it possible to break generational blind spots and finally play this game with clarity, calm, and real masculine power. Now let's get into it. Number 1, the status shift. When she feels below you, in a good way. Desire isn't fair. It never was, and it's never equal. Women don't sleep with men they see as equals. They sleep with men who pull them up, who challenge their comfort, who make them feel, without saying it, that they're trying to earn something rare. And the moment that shift happens, the moment she senses that you're not chasing her, not validating her, not treating her like a prize, but holding your own frame like you're the experience, her mind starts recalibrating. Status isn't about wealth, it's about inner value. It's the way you correct her softly without apologizing. It's the way you say no with no anger, no anxiety, and no need to explain. It's the moment she asks something and you pause, not because you're unsure, but because you're measuring her tone. You're not being rude, you're leading. And leadership is the most erotic thing a woman can sense in silence. Men who give off this shift don't flinch when a woman disagrees. They don't scramble when she tests. They let her speak, then make decisions as if the world won't change their direction. Because it won't. That moment, where she realizes your world is intact without her approval, is when attraction begins. Not the first compliment, not the first date, but the first power reframe. The moment you gently stop the conversation, redirect it, or interrupt her plan with a better one. And you do it without asking. This doesn't mean disrespect, it means command with kindness. Example, she says, "Let's go there instead." You smile and say, "We're checking this spot first." No energy spike, no debate, just stillness. In that pause, where most men flinch, she feels it. The switch, the man who leads the energy, the man who doesn't need to be liked to stay centered. And when she feels that, her body does something her mind can't stop. It starts picturing how you'd lead everywhere else. Number 2, the emotional roller coaster. Chemistry is contrast. Flat emotion is forgettable. It doesn't matter how good you look or how smooth your words are. If your energy is one note, she forgets you the moment she walks away. But contrast? Contrast makes her feel something. And anything that makes her feel deeply, even confusion, even curiosity, sticks to her skin. This is the secret of chemistry. It's not built on compatibility. It's built on contradiction, on unpredictability, on emotional spikes that keep her guessing, searching, and leaning in to decode who you are. The man who creates emotional roller coasters does not argue. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't become moody. He simply knows when to smile, when to go quiet, and when to drop a comment so emotionally precise that it cuts her pattern without touching her ego. For example, You make her laugh for 5 minutes straight. She's glowing, smiling, feeling connected. Then, without warning, you pause. You look her in the eyes and say, "You always hide behind humor when you're avoiding something real, don't you?" Silence. Now she's spinning. The warmth you gave her became a contrast to the emotional mirror you just held up. You didn't insult her. You didn't accuse her. You just revealed something she thought was invisible. And now she's processing. Who is this guy? How did he see that? What else does he know? The roller coaster doesn't require drama. It requires awareness. Sometimes you tease, sometimes you challenge, sometimes you're deeply warm, asking her about her childhood patterns. Then suddenly you go quiet, start checking your phone, or turn to focus on something else entirely. That swing, that shift in attention, it creates emotional space. And space breeds desire. Because in that silence, she starts playing the moment back, wondering what it meant, asking herself if she said too much, too little, if she made an impression, or if you already forgot the moment. This mental replay loop is chemistry. Most men think they need to build comfort. What they really need to do is disrupt emotional predictability. Chemistry is what happens when you emotionally lift, drop, and pause just long enough to force her into introspection. The moment she's asking herself, "What is this?" is the moment she's not thinking logically anymore. She's inside the loop. And when a woman enters that loop, arousal builds, not from physicality, but from meaning. Because now she believes this connection is different. Not because you said it is, but because it feels different. The man who triggers emotional roller coasters isn't unstable. He's calibrated. He uses silence like a weapon. He knows when to pull back, and he knows that unpredictability, not constant affection, is what makes her feel chemistry. Once she feels that contrast, her body makes a decision her mind can't override. She connects you to excitement. And excitement, when repeated just right, becomes desire. Number 3, status transfer. When she feels elevated, just by being near you. There's a moment every woman feels but rarely understands. It's when a man's energy, presence, or life creates an internal shift. Not because he's trying to impress her, but because being near him makes her feel like more. That moment? That's the moment attraction spikes faster than words can explain. That's status transfer. And it's one of the most potent, silent triggers of sexual desire. This doesn't mean showing off. It means she observes, subconsciously, that you're the experience, and being around you raises her value just by association. It could be how others react to you. It could be your tone when talking to a stranger. It could be how smoothly you move through a room. Zero approval seeking, zero external validation. It could be how you speak when you're not trying to sound smart. But every word lands with weight. She notices, not just the confidence, not just the posture, but the effect you have on the space around you. When she feels elevated next to you, emotionally, socially, energetically, she starts seeing herself through a new lens. Not because you're telling her anything, but because her body senses it. Being next to this man shifts how others see me and how I see me. That sensation plants desire deep into her subconscious. Not because you're better than her, but because you carry yourself like someone whose approval is a rare currency. And when she starts to feel like she's earning that currency, not through effort, but through presence, her interest deepens. There's a reason celebrities get attention. But it's not fame itself. It's the energy of being centered in your own frame while the world rotates. And when a man without fame, but with that same gravity, walks into her world. It jolts her nervous system. She can't place it, but it makes her pause, watch, want. Your goal isn't to be cocky. It's to move like you're used to being observed and unfazed by attention. You smile when it's earned. You give eye contact when it's aligned. You compliment not because she's pretty, but because you actually saw something rare in her behavior. That standard, that discernment, that's status. Now she's not just wondering if you like her, she's wondering if she's worthy of your frame. And that's the moment desire stops being logical. It starts being tribal, evolutionary, primal. She doesn't want to join your world. She wants to be seen as part of it. And when a woman sees herself leveling up next to a man, her body decides to align with him. That alignment looks like curiosity, obsession, and eventually, submission. Because now you're not chasing her, you're giving her something far more addictive than attention. You're giving her identity elevation. And once she associates your presence with an upgrade in how she feels about herself, that's the moment she stops thinking about whether she wants you and starts imagining what it would feel like to be chosen by you. Number 4, the power moment. When you interrupt her comfort pattern. There's a precise moment when attraction shifts gears. It's when she suddenly realizes you're not like the others. Not because you said something impressive, not because you flexed a skill, but because you interrupted her comfort without apology. That subtle disruption of tone, of expectation, of rhythm is what forces her to reclassify you in her mind. From nice to maybe to danger. And no, not danger as in threat, but psychological unpredictability, the kind of presence that bends her familiar patterns just enough to make her alert, intrigued, and slightly off balance. That's the exact moment you move from forgettable to unforgettable. Most women live in control of social rhythm. They're used to guiding the tone, testing men's behavior, and predicting outcomes. When you don't respond the way she expects, when you stay still in the face of provocation or make a bold statement that cuts the usual rhythm, it breaks her automatic comfort loop. And that's the power moment. Example, she jokes about men needing to chase her. Most would laugh nervously or agree to keep the vibe safe. You say, "I don't chase, I observe." Calm, collected. No smile. And you hold eye contact just long enough to make her feel seen. Then you move on. No explanation. No follow-up. Her brain pauses. That wasn't expected. And now you're in her head. She's wondering what that meant, who you are, if you're being serious, if you're arrogant, if you've said that before, if you've meant it, if you're bluffing. And now she's invested. Because a moment ago she was leading the rhythm. And now she's reacting to yours. That pattern break is what creates traction. You're not trying to teach her. You're not correcting her like a parent. You're just calmly introducing a higher rhythm, a different cadence, a new emotional environment. And the moment she accepts your rhythm, even for a second, her body registers something ancient. This man leads the tribe. This isn't about being rude. You don't shut her down or dismiss her emotions. You simply don't follow her emotional lead. You guide it. And she notices. It can be as simple as disagreeing with confidence. Not to challenge her for sport, but to speak your truth without checking her face for approval. You're not performing, you're holding. That moment of unshaken leadership, even in a light conversation, is what makes her body start picturing how you'd lead elsewhere, in private, in silence, in intimacy. And once her body starts imagining that experience, it's already decided. The arousal isn't based on what you did. It's based on the safety she feels in your ability to steer. Power isn't loud. power is stillness under pressure. And when you hold that stillness in her emotional frame, even when she's testing, joking, leading, it sends a shockwave through her nervous system that echoes long after the conversation ends. She doesn't think, "He's powerful." She thinks, "Something about him made me feel different." And that feeling? That's the gateway to desire. Number 5. Social proof pivot. When other people respect you, she reframes you. A woman doesn't just listen to what you say, she watches how the world reacts to you. Because while attraction begins in a moment between you and her, it intensifies when she sees how others reflect your value. This is the social proof pivot. The exact moment when someone else's respect for you flips a switch in her brain. You stop being interesting. You become important. Social proof is primal. It's encoded deep into our biology. A man alone might be strong, but a man respected by his tribe, that's safety, that's power, that's status. And when she sees others orbiting around you, responding to you, mirroring your calm, her internal calculation changes instantly. Suddenly, she's not asking, "Do I like him?" She's thinking, "Why does everyone else listen to him? What does he know that I don't?" This moment can't be forced. It happens naturally when you live with value, when you walk into spaces with quiet ownership, when people respect your opinion, not because you talk the loudest, but because you speak the sharpest, when your presence elevates the mood, centers the chaos, or shifts the focus. And she feels it. It might be a glance from another woman, a nod from a respected man. A moment where you lead the conversation and nobody challenges it. Not because they can't, but because they trust your center. That is the social proof pivot. Her attraction is no longer personal. It's now validated by the tribe. And that's a completely different kind of attraction. It carries weight, urgency, prestige. Now she sees you not as a solo moment of chemistry, but as a rare type of man other people already recognize. And that changes everything. She starts associating your presence with access to a higher standard, a cleaner frame, a better experience. And she now believes that being close to you upgrades her status too. This is why men who lead in groups, without bragging, without posturing, are so magnetic. It's why a man with silent respect gets more attention than a man begging for spotlight. When she witnesses others leaning toward you, reacting to you, respecting your calm, she doesn't need to be told who you are. She feels it. And once she sees that alignment, once she realizes that others mirror you, not the other way around, her body locks in the decision her mind hasn't yet voiced. This man is different. He's not seeking position. He is the position. At that point, the frame has shifted. You're not trying to get her. She's trying to understand what it would feel like to belong to you. And desire born from social validation isn't shallow. It's evolutionary. It's the core of mating psychology. When a man can command respect without demanding it, when he can lead without needing spotlight, when he can stay calm while the world spins, she doesn't just want him, she wants to be seen with him, and that changes everything. Now you know. The moment she decides isn't loud, it isn't planned, it isn't about the date, the gifts, or the compliments. It happens in silence, in energy, in presence. And it happens when her nervous system experiences a pattern break, a moment where you don't behave like every man she's ever known. That moment can be any of the 5. It can be the status shift, when your calm refusal to chase makes her feel she's not the one leading. The emotional roller coaster, when she feels chemistry through contrast, not consistency. The status transfer, when she senses that being around you lifts her value. The power moment, when you interrupt her comfort with calm control. The social proof pivot, when others' respect reframes her entire perception of you. She might smile, she might tease, she might act unbothered. But inside, her body has made the call. And once that internal switch flips, it's no longer about logic. It's attraction on a subconscious level, emotional, primal, and unshakable. And now, you've seen behind the curtain. You know what to cultivate, what to control, what to become. Because the truth is, men aren't born with this. It's built through discipline, through silence, through knowing your worth before the world confirms it. You want to be the man who doesn't just get attention, but who lives in her memory long after the conversation ends. If this video shifted how you see yourself, if it made you feel different, if something inside you clicked, comment "unstoppable" below. Let me know who actually stayed to the end, who's locked in, who's building from the inside out. Like the video, subscribe and hit the bell. This isn't just content, it's a movement. Share this with one man who's always felt he was almost there, but couldn't explain why he wasn't getting chosen. Because the difference isn't game, it's gravity. And from now on, you carry that. Thank you for watching. Keep evolving. Keep sharpening. And remember, she doesn't decide when you touch her. She decides the moment you touch her mind.